Kevin Do 45, he said, should I reroll Dual Blade to Phantom? I got a question from, um, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'll put his handle here on the screen. But he asked, he has a Night Lord, level 206. Is it a good choice for the long run? He wants to stick with one character all the time, and he doesn't want to lose time choosing the wrong class. And that's a very common question, right? You don't want to waste time on a class that's not gonna be as fulfilling, I guess, or as doing as much damage or whatever it is, whether it's resources and time, and that's very common. So when it comes to re-rolling or choosing a class, I think it's wrong of me to say, you should choose one class over the other. I think it's just not my place. At the end of the day, it's your time, it's your money. But usually what I do say is, or ask the question back is, do you enjoy playing the class? Do you have fun? Do you like logging on? Do you like doing dailies? Do you like bossing? Do you like the rotation, the play style? All those things, the toolkit that class provides, right? Because that is the most important thing. I think a lot of times when people decide to re-roll or quit or retire, whatever it is, it's because the grind is more of a chore than it is, fun, right? And if you're playing, dailies are hard enough, grinding, ults, things like that. And if you're not even having fun playing your main, then it's not going to last very long. And so, yes, damage is a huge part, right? For a Night Lord, playing a Dual Blade, things like that. But I think a lot of the classes, I'll say all the classes really, can perform well with proper funding, right? That is the next question. How much are you going to invest in it? How much are you planning on gearing it up? Because classes, it's hard for you to, even if you're playing a top tier class, say like a Paladin or a Luminous is very strong right now. Even if you're playing one of these top tier classes, if you can still get out DPS by people that have better gear, right? Have higher cap. The cap gear I talked about previously is so large right now that it doesn't matter what class you play. You can do insane damage with more gear. Simple as that, right? So you can't just look at damage purely as a deciding factor on what you should reroll, because again, another point made is this patch is a great example. 10 classes get rebalanced, right? So like these people that are complaining on playing a Kaiser and then rerolling to hero, well, Kaiser just got buffed. Demon Slayers just got buffed. So people are reeling from Demon Slayer to Paladin. The point is, like, classes are going to get rebalanced. The meta is constantly going to change. And if you're continuing to reroll based on what the current meta is, based on what the current numbers, the lines that you're hitting as your class is hitting, you're forever kind of going to be either one step behind, or you're just never going to be satisfied, because any month you can get rerolled, or your class that you rerolled from can get buffed. And you're just going to be like, I should have stayed with that class. I enjoyed it more, but the damage just wasn't there. And then that class gets buffed, and then all of a sudden you're like, regret all the time. And so the main thing that you have to ask yourself is, do you enjoy playing that class? Do you enjoy logging on? Do you enjoy that playstyle? And are you maximizing that class, not even depending on your gear? Are you mastering? Do you know the ins and outs of that class? Do you feel like you are putting out as much damage as possible, or do you think you can get better at playing that class, right? And I think that's a lot of people just look at the class from DPS numbers or how you stack up, but sometimes it's just playing the player, right? For example, if I were to play your class, like if someone were to play my Paladin who is not a Paladin main, I wouldn't expect them to do the same damage as I would, right? Just simple as that, because they've never played it. They don't know the ins and outs. They may know the rotation, but they don't know, survivability, how to use your iframes, the mobility, things like that. Just kind of the nuances of mastering your class and maining a class. So I think that goes into play. If you don't feel like you're a master of your class, you can't really say, there's just room to grow in that aspect, right? It's not just the class. It's not just gear. You got to look at yourself too as well. So these are just things that I think about, and I try to ask players that want to reroll. There's a lot of factors, right? Damage is just damage is so far is not one of the priorities in my opinion for playing a class, because it always changes, and there's a lot of ways to improve your damage, and gear is one of them, but also playing your class better is another. So thank you for all those people that ask questions. I hope that helps. Keep the questions coming, for real. But yeah, it's tough for me to just kind of give a yes or no, one's better or not, things like that, because everyone's situation is different.